In the quiet woods of northeastern Oklahoma, an unsolved mystery still haunts the landscape. It's a place where innocence was stolen, where the joy and laughter of Girl Scouts were replaced by the echoes of a crime so heinous it remains fresh in the minds of those who dare to remember. This is the story of Camp Scott, once a bustling epicenter of childhood adventure and excitement. But in the summer of 1977, it would become a crime scene. It would become the backdrop of the Oklahoma Girl Scout murders. Lori Farmer, just 8 years old, was a bright and spirited girl. Michele Guse, 9 years old, possessed a contagious joy that lit up every room she entered. And Denise Milner, 10 years old, was a girl with hopes and dreams, her vibrant spirit shining through her beautiful smile. But that stormy night would shatter their innocence and forever scar the landscape of their dreams. In the early morning hours of June 14th, their bodies were discovered near their tent, their lives brutally taken from them. The horror of the crime sent shockwaves through the community, leaving families devastated and a nation in disbelief. The promising lives of these 3 young girls were tragically cut short, and the quest for justice began. 3 young lives were extinguished, their futures stolen. A community was shattered, their faith in safety and justice challenged. Gene Leroy Hart, a local man with a troubled past, was accused of the crime. Yet, despite the damning evidence, questions remained, and Hart was acquitted. But did the real killer walk free? This is not just a story of a crime. This is an exploration of the mystery that has shrouded this case for over 4 decades. It's a journey through the labyrinth of evidence, through the trials and investigations, and the advancements of forensic science that have brought new hope. But at its core, this is a story of loss and survival. The family of these victims have been searching for closure, living life under the shadow of this tragedy. Yet they continue to thrive, embodying resilience in the face of heartbreak. Join us as we delve into the mystery, the tragedy, the unanswered questions of the Oklahoma Girl Scout murders, as we seek to understand, to remember, and to find the elusive truth. It was a weekend in April 1977 when unsettling signs first appeared at Camp Scott. A tent, normally a symbol of joyous adventure, lay in disarray, a grim premonition of the tragedy that would strike. Belongings scattered, an ominous note left behind, a forewarning of an intent so vile it would chill anyone to the bone. On several pages torn from a steno notebook, the word "kill" was written over and over again, and an unnerving message: we're on a mission to kill 3 girls. This warning, a cruel harbinger of what was to come, was dismissed as a mere prank by the camp director. Fast forward to June of that year, when the prophecy horrifyingly came true. The lives of 3 young Girl Scouts were brutally cut short, shattering the sanctity of their campsite and the peace of their families. As the community mourned, investigators struggled to put together pieces of the gruesome puzzle. Their main lead, Gene Leroy Hart, a local man with a history of violent crime. Hart was charged, but in a shocking turn of events, was acquitted. Questions plagued the case. Was Hart truly innocent, or had a killer slipped through the cracks of the judicial system? Had justice failed these girls? Over time, forensic advancements held the promise of untangling the mystery. A semen sample found near the bodies, once inconclusive, became a beacon of hope. But even as technology advanced, the truth remained elusive. The sample was too degraded to reveal a definitive DNA profile. As investigators held on to the hope that further advancements would allow them to revisit this crucial piece of evidence, CODIS, the FBI's combined DNA index system, waited silently, a symbol of potential justice delayed but not denied. In the aftermath of the tragedy, the investigation began with a determined intensity. Police combed through every inch of the campsite, meticulously collecting every potential clue. Among the scattered belongings and shattered innocence, investigators found a vital piece of evidence, a semen sample, a beacon of hope. It held the promise of leading them straight to the killer. The evidence, along with a trail of other clues, led the investigators to one man, Gene Leroy Hart, a local with a violent past. His name quickly became synonymous with the gruesome murders that had shocked the community. The semen sample, originally found at the crime scene, now offered a fresh promise of justice, a chance to pull back at the veil of uncertainty that had lingered for years. In 1989, the FBI tested the sample, yet the results were inconclusive, unable to definitively tie Hart to the crime scene. But hope was not lost. As technology improved, so did the chances of getting a reliable DNA profile from the degraded sample. A ray of hope persisted. The Combined DNA Index System, or CODIS, was now capable of linking crime scenes together and identifying potential offenders. The nation held its breath, waiting for a match. However, without a clear DNA profile, the investigators were forced to wait, banking on continued advancements in technology to bring them one step closer to a conclusive answer. Yet amid the advancements and the promise they held, a profound sense of loss remained. The families of the victims continued to bear the weight of a pain that words could never truly describe. The pain of losing a loved one never truly fades away. For the families of these three young girls, life continued, albeit under the long, oppressive shadow of grief. For over 4 decades, Betty Milner couldn't bring herself to visit her daughter Denise Milner's grave at Green Acres Cemetery. The hurt was simply too much to bear. Yet the healing process demands acknowledgement of the pain. Encouraged by her family and friend, Betty finally found the strength to visit the grave in January of 2016. Her daughter Crystal and her granddaughter Denise, named after the sister Crystal never knew, joined her. It was a sad moment of shared grief and collective healing. They say that what doesn't break you makes you stronger, and that was true for these families. Despite their unimaginable loss, they continued to thrive, driven by their resolve to honor the memories of their loved ones. For Betty, faith played a crucial role in her journey. She found solace in the divine, a comfort that allowed her to cope with her loss and uncertainty. Closure, she says, is a word made up by someone who doesn't understand what it's like to lose a child. Her healing will only be complete when the questions that have haunted her for years are finally answered. Years may pass, but the quest for the truth never dims. This was the spirit that animated Sheriff Reed, a local boy from Mays County, when he reopened the case years later. Reed was just a child when the murders happened. Little did he know that one day, he would be the one striving to bring resolution to this grim chapter in local history. The commitment he made to the victims' families was clear and unwavering. He would explore every avenue, every piece of evidence, every possible lead. A year into his renewed investigation, Reed called upon the expertise of the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation and the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. This move led to the case being scrutinized by an array of accomplished professionals, 23 homicide investigators, FBI behavioral analysts, and profilers. Their unanimous agreement lent credence to the theory of Gene Leroy Hart's guilt, but DNA evidence was needed to solidify their consensus. The high cost of DNA analysis could have stalled progress, but the determined residents of May County stepped up, raising the $30,000 required for the test. And then, finally, in 2022, a breakthrough. The existing DNA evidence strongly suggested Hart's involvement. This revelation served to eliminate every other suspect. Despite this significant development, Sheriff Reed remained open to new evidence. His conviction of Hart's guilt was now stronger than ever, but his commitment to the truth remained unwavering. Still yet, Sheriff Reed delivered the news to the families, a moment both profound and poignant. After more than 4 decades, a sense of certainty was finally within reach. Although it's been 46 years, the Oklahoma Girl Scout murders are a dark chapter in history, one that has left an indelible scar on the lives it touched. While the DNA evidence has pointed to the late Gene Leroy Hart, questions still linger. Did the real killer walk free? Did they commit other heinous acts? The tragedy of these murders will always cast a shadow on our search for answers. But amidst the grief and the questions, there are also stories of strength, The victims' families continue to thrive, standing testament to the human capacity for resilience in the face of unthinkable loss. Betty Milner, mother of the young victim Denise, perhaps sums it up best. There's no closure to a tragedy like this, only a journey that continues to seek answers and justice. Our hope is that this documentary has shed light on a case that deserves our attention, understanding, and most importantly, our continued resolve to ensure justice for those 3 innocent girls whose lives were tragically cut short. We hope that law enforcement and the public will continue to search for answers.